I stopped in for a visit at one of my neighboring Ohio zoos and found myself lost in time and completely charmed by its turn-of-the-century atmosphere. Most zoos in our country have torn down all their older buildings as well as animal exhibits. But here at the Toledo Zoo, they've done a great job in preserving buildings like this reptile house, which is right across from the new African Plains exhibit. Now, I have a 55-gallon aquarium in my office, which I thought was pretty big, until I came to the Toledo Zoo and saw this 375,000-gallon Hippocarium. Hippocarium? They tell me more about it than Linda Sabata, the mammal curator here at the Toledo Zoo.
This exhibit was opened in 1987. It's the first ever underwater filtered viewing of hippos.
Good night. What do people say when they see this big thing floating around in here?
Oh, they're pretty excited. They can't believe that they can see them actually just kind of doing their little pirouettes and moving around in here.
Where are hippos from, and how many of them live together?
Hippos are from Africa, and they usually live along the riverbeds.
I was noticing how big their teeth are. A lot of people you see in the old Tarzan movies, they think you see them eating people. They don't eat meat, though.
No, they don't eat meat. They mostly eat grasses and fruits and vegetables. They're grazers. But they do have extremely big teeth. Their front incisors can get as long as 11 inches, and also their tusks that can be 20 inches long. When they start fighting, they use their heads. They open their mouth, and they do a lot of head throwing and shaking, and they can inflict a lot of damage because their skin is very thin. And so when they start going with those big teeth, they can really put a gash in one another.
As far as their skin, I've noticed some red stuff on it. What's that for?
Hippos' skin is quite different from most other mammals. They don't have sweat glands. They have these mucus glands. They secrete this red, sticky fluid out of their pores that actually looks like they're sweating blood. But it's actually like a natural suntan lotion that protects them from the sun, also protects them from infection, and also from dehydration. Hippos spend most of their time in the water, but they do like to get out and bask in the sun. I mean, when you come with natural suntan lotion, I mean, it would just make sense that once in a while you'd like to lay out in the sun and absorb the rays.
I was looking at here a minute ago at their little noses and ears. It looks like a submarine coming up.
Right. They can just come up to the surface, and their nostrils, their eyes, and their ears are all on the same plane. Other animals are not aware, oftentimes, of the hippos being in the water around them. And there could be hundreds of hippos around you, and you may not notice it. You may all of a sudden just see a couple eyes or a couple ears and some nostrils.
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah, you can see how their ears are laid back flat. That keeps the water out of their ears, and their nostrils are shut tight. That also keeps the water out of their nose. They're specially adapted for that.
Look at that. I mean, how long can they stay underwater?
They can stay underwater for 5 minutes or so.
Now, the baby hippos, they're not born underwater, are they?
Oh, they sure are. That's pretty exciting. We watched Bubbles the last time she was in labor. It happened at 2:45 in the afternoon, right in front of the glass. The little foot came out, went back in, but the stands were all cheering for Bubbles all the way. It was about 2 hours, though, actually, before the baby did pop out. It's just the neatest thing. People really love it. I mean, it is just the greatest. I think there's a lot of misconception about hippos. I think people feel that they're very aggressive at all times, but actually, hippos can be very friendly, and we've seen how graceful they can be as they're swimming by.
It's like a ballet.
It's great. they're just a great animal.
I've come all the way to Georgia to pay my respects to a grand old guy. This is Zoo Atlanta's African rainforest, home to more silverback gorillas than any other zoo in the country, and its most famous resident is Willie B.
Willie B. lives in a spacious forest setting that could easily be mistaken for his native African home. For this 36-year-old, it is the happy ending of a story that threatened to be very sad. For Willie B. and Zoo Atlanta, it was not always so idyllic. When the young 3-year-old arrived here in 1961 from Africa, most zoos kept animals in cages. Willie B. was to spend the next 27 years behind bars. Charles Horton, lead primate keeper, has been with Willie B. for more than 20 years and knows him better than any other human being.
Well, when I first started taking care of Willie in the old building that we just had a bare floor with tile, and Willie had a very small world, and we always felt kind of obligated to give him special attention since those kind of environments were really deprived.
Unfortunately, Willie B. was only the most well-known example of the sorry state of the entire zoo.
There were animals in cages. It was dirty. It was small. It was really not a great zoo.
At the time, it was on the list of the 10 worst zoos in the country, and the American Association of Zoological Parks and Aquariums denied it accreditation. Then in 1984, Parks Commissioner Carolyn Hatcher had a fateful meeting with Mayor Andrew Young.
I remember once when he said to me, well, Carolyn, it's great to worry about the animals and fix up that zoo, but how about all the other problems? And to try to put it in the context of there are people who don't have enough to eat, who don't have jobs. Why is a zoo important? And it was very easy for me to say, well, but first of all, because it's here. And my attitude was, we should either fix it up or close it down.
After Carolyn Hatcher found the necessary financial and community support to save the zoo, she turned to a professor from Georgia Tech, Dr. Terry Maple, to help implement her ideas.
Certainly this community spoke up for its zoo loud and clear. I'm the only director this zoo ever had, and it's 102 years old, where the public said, don't just fix it, make it really good.
And that's exactly what Dr. Maple did. The first phase of Zoo Atlanta's renovations included a new home for Willie B. in the African rainforest.
Getting Willie outside for the first time, it had to be the best day so far of my life here at the zoo. I would have never dreamed it was possible, even maybe 2 years before that. The fact that we can give him an identity of his own and not just like our personal pet or our mascot is, it's very dignifying to finally give an animal what he deserves.
As Willie adapted to his new surroundings, he not only lost 40 pounds, he began behaving more like a gorilla in the wild. But what would happen when he was introduced to a potential mate?
We did maybe 2 months of the indoor introduction before we put them outside together. I felt really another big blessing as I was walking by, just happened to catch them by accident and didn't really believe what I was seeing. I said, how did they figure this out? And it was just another incredible big day for us.
Today, Willie B. shares his home with 3 adult females, Chuma, Shambra, and Kenyani. Besides Willie B.'s troop, there are 3 other gorilla families in the rainforest, making it one of the largest captive gorilla habitats in the world. Free to live their lives much as they would in the wild, the families continue to grow and flourish. And here's the real happy ending. Kudzu is the sixth baby born here since the rainforest opened. Her father, the grand old guy himself, Willie B. Clearly, it's the beginning of a new story, in which Willie B will now be the symbol of one of the best zoos in the country.
LA Zoo. Woo! No skateboard. No skateboard. Oh man. How you doing? Going to the zoo, man. Look at this waterfall. It looks cool. Is it cool? Bringing wildlife to the city is what it's all about for Mark Goldstein, director of the Los Angeles Zoo. You can't get more urban than right here is the city, and right here is your zoo. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, that is the city, the smog, the freeways, the traffic. Here's our nirvana. These people that live in this incredible metropolis with all the freeways and the fast way of life, they cross this barrier into this zoo. People can come to the zoo, it's an affordable experience, and for a couple of hours, you're allowed to act like a child. The fun's important in life. I think it reduces that stress. I think if more of us got to laugh more often, I think we'd probably hate a little less.
Well, this is neat, man. Wow.
We see it from the
It's like, bro, there's a play dog right in front of me. Wow, look at those.
We have a little 1-month-old agile gibbon, which is this little guy right here.
He looks like E.T.'s hands. Doesn't he? Just like
They do look like E.T.
Yeah, exactly.
And
what's the other one?
the other one is a 7-day-old drill.
It comes from Central Africa, and along with being the first birth in 10 years in North America, which makes it very significant for us all, it is one of those many that their wild habitat in Central Africa, in this case, is being destroyed by human beings. Laurie and the keepers here will spend a lot of time making sure that this drill spends time with other primates, other monkeys, so that it truly grows up recognizing that it's a monkey, not a person.
He's got beautiful eyes. Look at those eyes, man.
Oh, little one.
I love his haircut. I just love his haircut. They live in troops?
Yes, they live in social troops. But our success with getting them really socialized and adapting to people in this country has really been very difficult.
So if we have other primate species in the nursery, we raise them together so that they get that early socializing, which is very important to them. We also take them to the exhibits and socialize them with their own species as early as a couple of weeks old.
Or else they go home with you, right?
Or else they go home with
Yeah.
me.
See you later.
Sweetie.
Now this next creature is one that I'd love to take home with me. This looks like some animal you'd see on the Flintstones, along with the woolly mammoth or the saber-toothed tiger. But this is Emmy, and Emmy's a two-year-old Sumatran rhino, one of the rarest animals on Earth. And with me is Richard Floyd, Emmy's keeper. Now, what's it like? I've never seen a hairy baby like this.
She is wonderful to work with, Jack. She is fantastic.
Now, Richard, does this animal have a prehensile lip?
Yes, she does, Jack. The prehensile lip, if you look real closely, it sticks out there. She uses this to reach over to pull the branches off trees.
There she goes. Now she pulls them off like leaves, so she doesn't eat grass like a cow.
That's right. She's not a grazer. She's a browser. This is the ficus, small leaf ficus, passion vine, and Kiefer plum. Right. She loved all of it.
Now, was she born with all this hair?
Yes, she was. Yes. These Sumatran rhino, when they're young like this, they have long hair, real long reddish hair.
Look at that fold.
This is how they evolved.
Golly, Dave.
1 million years ago, they evolved this way. The Sumatran rhino did.
On this rhino here, the horns on this rhino aren't very big, because other rhinos, the horns are big. Will these grow?
Just 2 years old. When she gets about 6 years old, the horns will get bigger. Sumatran rhino are endangered because there are people that feel the horn is something like an aphrodisiac, and that the rhino's paws cures all aches and pain. Plus, people in Sumatra are pushing the Sumatran rhinos further into the deep part of the forest, so they are being killed and moved out of their habitat. We are involved in an SSP program that is to save all rhinos from extinction. We are trying to bring these rhinos into the country to breed them, and hopefully we'll have some monster rhinos in the future. Emmy, all right, where you going? She's a very special rhino that we love. She's very quiet, very shy, very playful, and very lovable. She's a very special creature. That's my baby. That's my sweetheart.